I'm out here grinding, man. It's overtime. This that overtime grind. Put in work and get mine. I got a strong hustle, now I put it on the line. OT.
All right, so what's up again, y'all? This is the Boulevard with Ben Allen. Obviously, once again, I'm the host, Ben Allen. I'm here with, what can we say? Media maven, producer extraordinaire, the busiest dude that I personally know. Yeah, I'll stop there. My boy Derrick Myers, say what's up, man.
What's good, bro? How you been?
Hey, man, I've been all right. You know, I was excited to come today. Obviously, I'm reporting live from the Dad Mobile again.
Yeah.
So I was excited to get out the house because today I didn't leave. I didn't have a reason to leave. I worked from home today.
Oh yeah.
I taught from home today. I cooked twice. So, you know what I'm saying? I was excited to leave the house.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess we kind of started the day with some weird news. Before we get into that though, how are you?
Man, I'm good. Just, working. That's it. That's pretty much it, man.
Yeah,
Just
that's
staying
pretty
busy.
much what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you love what you do, you know, work is kind of,
It's
it's
not
not
a
necessarily the
hassle.
word. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's not a hassle, man. It's busy. Yeah, you get exhausted, but you're busy, but nothing to complain
Exactly.
about.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what, like, I work for myself. So
Right.
that's where I find the value or the joy. Like, I could be doing something I completely hate today.
Yeah.
It didn't happen, but I could be doing something I completely hate, but it's like nobody told me I had to get here to do what I completely hate at 7:30, and nobody told me I had to have it done by noon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can eat lunch for an hour and a half.
Not be docked for pay.
Right. So, it's pros and cons, but when
Yeah.
you like what you do or love what you do, working, it just becomes like a air quotes
Bro,
word.
it's a hustle, man. It's a hustle. It's something that when you know it's something you want and you just want to go get it,
Yeah.
you gotta go get it.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean that's just how it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
That's a
So
fact. And
yeah,
it's either that or you can want to be nothing or broke.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
mean, I
I,
don't.
I, me either.
Feel me?
As for as long as I can remember, I've always known I wanted to work for myself.
Yeah.
And then whenever I've had to actually go have a job where I have a boss, it's good, it's cool, but when that manager, supervisor, or whoever gets on that power trip,
Yeah.
oh, I had one manager that was on a power trip and he had Napoleon complex. The dude
Okay, we
was
might have the same manager.
yeah.
We might have had the same manager at some point.
Man, that dude's shorter than me, man. I'm what 5'9", something like that. And dude was like maybe 5'3", 5'4". So I'm looking down on him, man. He's a white guy. So I know
Oh,
he
so he
hated
was
me.
like, did he have the big dwarf head? Like, when you get like, I think he might be a few inches off from that, but like, when you get like 4'10", 4'11", you get the big head and the high booty. Did he have that? Was that
He
That's what happens. Hey, look, shout out
yeah,
to all the homies that's 5'2" and below, but it's a dangerous
bro.
time up in those height areas that you may end up with the big head and the high booty. So
Bro,
shout out to
that
y'all.
yeah, that guy was on one, and I cussed him out.
Oh yeah, they don't like that.
He did not like me, man.
Yeah, they don't
Told me
like
to go
that.
pick stuff up. I said, "Would you go pick it up?" Yeah, I said, "Well, then go do it." I'm not like it wasn't something for me to do.
It's
Like
not my job.
it's not my job. So
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, hated that. I know he hated that, but it's what it is.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, I had a manager. He went off on a power trip, and he had some papers in front of him. I don't know what they were. He never showed them to me, and he was like asking me like, simple questions like trying to lead me into like, I know this isn't your job, but can you do this to support your team? So he was like, so when you're not here, do you think it's fair your teammates have to answer to your clients? And I'm like, I don't care because I'm not I'm not at
there.
work, so it doesn't matter to me. I
Yeah.
mean, I put my away message on my email, and if they
Yep.
want to, if they want to call after they get my away message, they'll get somebody who can take care of
Yeah.
it. And he was like, well, and I mean, he turned red. You know what time it is. And he was like, well, I mean, I'm sure this customer would have a lot to say about that. And it was like a customer who was mistreated by one of my teammates, and I'm like,
That's not
fam,
your
I don't.
fault.
Why are you talking to me about that? Like, I said, yo, I'm not gonna be here tomorrow. Y'all said okay, like that's the end of the conversation.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, man.
But
It's gonna be a great time when we can get off these jobs forever.
right,
Like,
exactly. That's gonna be a joyous moment.
man,
And do
looking
it in the
forward to
way
it.
that it actually supports you as opposed to like leaving a job working for yourself and struggling. So I would suggest to
Yep.
everybody who is working on the process of working for yourself, make sure you get yourself to the point to where you can support both yourself and your business with the amount of money that you're making, and then push your business to the point that you can support yourself and the money that needs to keep flowing through your business does that. That way you lose the extra fun money from work, but you still have enough money to live your life that you want to live comfortably. And of
Exactly.
course, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Keep the business going. Because a big thing that I see a lot of entrepreneurs do, especially like in the last, like say 2 years where, entrepreneurial
Hmm.
endeavors in the black community kind of exploded. A lot of people were like, I want to start a business so I can quit my job next week. And it's like, nah.
Yo, I don't think people truly understand that when you work for yourself, you're
Yeah.
working a lot more.
You worked it's 20 I mean, it's 24/7 really because I mean, something can go wrong
Yeah.
at what time is it right now? 7:43 p.m. and you got to have that shit figured out before you try to start whatever you plan on doing for tomorrow.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
right now, my wife is setting up content for her social media for um one of I'm gonna say our because it's under our family incorporation, but it's
Hmm.
the Pink Dollar. Shout out to Jasmine, my wife, the Pink Dollar Company. She's working on the content for the social media for that. But if something changes, if something happens in the world that affects black women and in regards to finance is something that's major, like she would have to stop every single thing that she was doing and make sure she addresses that.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. People think like, okay, I'm going to sell paper clips and I'm gonna get enough paper clips, somebody's gonna want to buy them, I'm gonna sell them for a premium price and I'll be good. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not
Like,
at all.
unless I mean, unless you start selling ass, like you might want to take it slow being an entrepreneur until you get it figured out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's a
that way you
full
don't have to
time
go on a
thing.
power trip on yourself.
Yeah. It's a
But
full
like,
time thing, man.
speaking of full-time jobs, that I don't know if the people who work them hate it, but
Hmm.
typically the community that this job services doesn't have the greatest relationship with this job.
Hmm.
Police officers. So yesterday,
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the times of either one of these incidents, but August 23rd, Sunday, it was two different police shootings. One man in Louisiana, Lafayette, Louisiana. Um, Allegedly, he was armed. I saw the video. All I saw was him walking away, trying to go into a store.
Hmm.
I won't answer to that, obviously, because that's, whatever. But he was walking into the store. They say he had a knife. He grabbed the door for the store and was actually shot 11 times by the Lafayette Police Department. Um, that happened, and there was also I forgot his last name, but his first name is Jacob in Wisconsin. I'm sorry that I'm forgetting his name.
It was Blake.
Jacob Blake. That
Yeah.
sounds right to me. He was shot 7 times. He actually showed up to break up a fight between two young ladies. I'm not sure what their relation was to him, but he showed up, broke up the fight. The police came during the process. They were questioning him to cuff him. He explained that he had no reason to be cuffed. And as he was walking back to the car, he was shot 7 times by the 3 officers that were following him. And I don't know, like we kind of discussed before, like I'm fed up from having to actually explain to people why things like this don't make sense or why things like this aren't okay or why things like this could be easily. My man Derrick's about to die. Are you good?
Hey, I'm good, man.
Good. You good? You good? but but I looked up. I thought you were teary eyed from the subject matter. It turns out you about to die off the
Trying to die
Celtics stuff.
myself. Shoot.
Right. But like things like this are not okay, and the actions and the process of trying to subdue, who you would think is a subject, it doesn't make sense to me. Now, if the police saw a weapon in Lafayette, my thought process would be your first idea will be to maybe tase him. He had his back turned. It was 6 to 7 police officers behind the guy. I don't advocate for police force at all, but if this is what is within your job description or what you're able to do, tase them, get them to the ground. I mean, they could have tackled him. Once again, I don't advocate for police force, and I would honestly feel like they were suckers if they did actually take 6 of them to get him down. But I mean, you don't know what's going on in the situation, so I don't want to judge too much or stay too stuck on that. But I mean, 6-1, 7-1, 3-1. Like you can get this guy down without shooting him.
Yeah, I'm to be completely honest, I'm at the point now where I would be more comfortable. I would welcome the idea of the Black Panther Party coming back. For one, they need to come back. I would love that. But I would love to have the Black Panther Party come back and team up with Bloods and Crips, and they police our communities, because I don't feel comfortable going into a store with a cop. I walked into Publix a few weeks ago as a cop was walking in. The same time, my sister and I both walked in together, and this white cop comes in, walks right in front of us, and we both look at each other and we're like, "Yep, it's time to go. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go." These cops have they say the right thing when it's convenient in terms of maybe their reasons or how they feel about the communities that they police. But I'm sorry, you can't tell me there's any reason why a man is able to walk away from the cops, even if he has a knife. So what? If he's not charging toward you, what harm is he that you need to go ahead and shoot him?
You don't. That's what I'm saying. There's never a time to shoot unless they're shooting at you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I watched a police officer in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure of the city. I watched a police officer in Pennsylvania get put in a damn headlock in a convenience store. So this is embarrassing at this point, right? He gets put in a headlock in a convenience store, gets walked through the aisle. Finally, the only reason he got the dude off him is because the dude tripped backwards and the police officer was able to get on top of him. What did he do? White guy on white guy.
Oh, I guarantee that dude lived.
Yeah, he lived. Not only did he live, he didn't apply any of the same pressure that we all as black people know would have been applied. Like he was reasoning with the guy, like, "Yo, don't do this. Don't do this. You need to listen. You don't want to know what's gonna happen next."
Yeah.
And it's like, I know
Yeah.
what would have happened when I put you in the headlock.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
said I went for
yeah.
your gun or I had a knife and I reached toward your neck and I tried to kill you. So it's like I don't want to see anybody die.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see anyone unjustly harmed in the name of the law. That doesn't make sense.
No.
And the idea that not even an arrest, but a detention has led to murders more times than we can count
Mm-hmm.
within the last 12 months is
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. Think
Yeah.
about it. We have names that we can reference in the last 8 months of this year.
Oh
The
yeah.
only one that wasn't police activity was Ahmaud Arbery. And I mean, his situation was still a retired police officer. You know what I mean? So
Shoot, not even just that is the fact that the prosecution didn't even go after those guys until this
right.
became national news.
And so it's like it's still wrapped up in the police departments and police activity and that
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure. I know it's not realistic to call for that whole infrastructure to be torn down because that's essentially what white people at a certain level use to maintain order on, let's say the middle class and obviously the lower class.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something that has to be done because think about it realistically. I was talking to somebody about the Wisconsin case, Jacob's case,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, that police officer showed up there, protect them, and make sure everyone was safe. And I'm like, fam, Jacob showed up to protect them and make sure everything was safe.
Yeah.
If they were fighting, I'm sure nobody called the police because somebody came to break up the fight.
Right.
Obviously, somebody called the police as they were fighting. Somebody called me, Jacob. I show up to the situation, break it up, and then you get there.
Yeah.
And then somebody was like, "What would you do if a cop just showed up to your house?" Because it was another video of a black guy walking around his home or
Oh
whatever,
yeah.
and the cop was like, "I need to see your ID because you look suspicious." It looked like a nice area. I mean, honestly, from where my aspirations lie, it doesn't look like that much of a. Let me not sound like I'm hating. That much of an achievement,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that anybody can go out and get a $300,000 house. All you have to do, like you and I were talking at the beginning of this episode, is apply yourself, work,
Mm-hmm.
hustle, and take care of your credit, obviously, and you'll get to that point.
Yeah.
So don't
Yeah.
get me wrong with that point. But my point is anybody can get any house they want to in America if they work hard enough and they have the proper credit. So it's like, why would you even stop to ask me? And
No.
why would I even identify myself? And once again, that same person was like, well, the cop is there to protect him. And I'm like, no, he's not.
Mm-mm.
I bought these guns that I have in my house to protect my house. And then you call the cop to say, hey, I shot somebody. I need y'all to come drag them out of my house. It's not if police actually prevented crimes, then I would understand the overwhelming idea that there's a need to have police officers and police presence on the streets 24 hours. All they do is stop people from speeding.
Yeah.
I
Make the
mean,
quota. Go home.
it is what it is. I would be okay with my insurance going up $500 if there was no police on the streets. Because I mean, honestly, that's the only difference.
Bro, we don't have cops to actually protect us in our community anyway.
Right.
That I'm fine with it myself. I don't have a problem with that. I'm at the point now where to me it's almost like a lost cause to have cops out here.
I agree with that.
It makes no sense anymore. Like I don't feel safer with cops. That was the whole thing, right? That's the whole point.
Right.
We're supposed to, as a community, we're supposed to feel safer with police officers in the area. The only time I
Right.
feel safe if I see a cop is if I know there's a ton of people over somewhere, and they're gonna take the attention away from me.
Right.
That's the only time I
Exactly.
really feel safe. Anytime I see a cop, I don't care where I am. I don't care what state I'm in. I don't care what city I'm in. I don't like even in where I live, Henry County. Cops over here, black or white, I don't feel comfortable around.
Yeah.
I don't care. The cops. I know plenty of cops personally. Right? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't care. None of these cops. Like I respect that. You know there are cops out there that are there for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're quiet, you're complicit. And if you're complicit, I have nothing to do with you. Sorry.
Right. Exactly. Because I mean, you're on that team now, and I mean, you don't want to make it such a us versus them or us and them type of situation, but
They did
realistically,
that.
it is. Yeah.
They
I
did
mean,
that.
but not only with what you're referencing. I'm assuming you're talking about the Blue Lives Matter, right?
I'm talking about the whole thing.
Oh, because that's what I was about to say. Like
The
to
whole
even start,
structure.
yeah, the whole structure of police was they. I mean, they were brought to. They were established in America to, capture, escaped slaves or free
Mm-hmm.
slaves. So we take that thought process, and then okay, let's slightly turn it over into being like, oh, if you see someone else doing something bad, like maybe if you see Jesse James and some bank robbers, you can stop them too. Like, yeah, all right, but am I going to?
Yeah.
I don't need to. Hey, Jesse, throw me $10 because I'm sure that was like
For
10
sure.
bands back then. And you know what I'm saying? Break me off with
Keep it
that 10
moving.
bones real quick, and it's all good. Hit me with that Hamilton.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
It there was never a point where policing was for anything other than keep a certain status quo in black neighborhoods.
Yeah. And
Now, of
now
course,
it's starting to feel like population control.
yeah, not only that, but like literally controlling the population, like not
Yeah.
how many babies we can pop up, but like our mental.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I feel like the structure of police and just the idea of police in society is to have a certain amount of fear. Because if I didn't fear the police, I wouldn't stop doing certain things in their presence, or if I know they'll be around, or whatever the case may be. So if
Mm-hmm.
they keep pushing and putting out these images, and I mean killing people,
Mm-hmm.
obviously you get people who then start acting more docile and more subordinate. And I mean, I respect everybody. I'm not the type of person to say I love everybody, but I have love in my heart. I'm not a spiteful or vengeful or
Yeah.
hateful person.
Respect is earned.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times they try to mold that respect into like keeping people in their place. It's not a great way that I can explain it, because I didn't plan on us getting here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just honestly feel like the whole structure of policing is designed to keep us in a certain level of fear and like a certain level of like complacency. Because what happens next? Like we don't like I stay in a decent neighborhood, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the good part of town. Like I'm over the bridge and I'm beyond the city limits, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I never see police over here.
Mm-hmm.
I never see police just riding down my street.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't know, coming from where I come from and neighborhoods that I grew up in, that police don't just drive around all the time. Police just not at your school all the time. Like when I dropped my son off to the first day of 7th grade last year,
Mm-hmm.
no security. It's like easily 2,000 kids go to the school. No
Wow.
security, no police on the campus, and that shit was a shocker to me.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad about it, obviously, because it's like cool, let the kids live their life, but it's like you don't realize until you get out of the bad neighborhoods and the bad areas that policing is different.
Mm-hmm.
And once you realize that policing is different, I think that's when you understand that it's BS. You feel me?
I agree. I completely agree. completely agreeing. But and that's same here. I don't see cops come through my neighborhood all the time. It's every once in a while. I actually have a cop that lives down the street from me. Uh, actually on both sides from me. Um, but police officers really don't come through my subdivision too often. But they do ride through sometimes. They do ride through sometimes, and when they come through, even if I were to call them, it takes them a long time to get here.
Yeah.
They
And it's
don't
like,
care,
why?
man.
What are you doing?
Yeah. So I'm just good on cops.
Yeah.
I'm good on cops. I thought about becoming one a couple years ago, and I actually tried to go for the to take the class and everything like that. But then I had an outstanding ticket that I was fighting in court. So they said you can't do anything today. I was like, oh, all right.
And then that was it.
That was it. I have no interest in being a cop, man.
I think also, you know what I'm saying? I don't know the reason behind that, but I feel like it's a lot of black people who aspire for more, who their first idea, like when they start looking at careers, is to be a police officer, because it's like, okay, I've leveled up above being like, say, the typical hood person, or the typical, like, I'm in the streets or whatever. Like, all right, I got my diploma, I'm in college, I did this, I'm working, I'm responsible, I'm starting to notice that my friends are just, buttoned up, stuff like that. And so you get to the point where it's like, all right, I should show these other black people that if we put ourselves in authoritative positions, that we can kind of change the narrative of what policing is. But probably around the same time that you did that, like, I thought about being a police officer in 2016, 15 or 16, somewhere in there. Like, literally the day I was looking for the stuff is when the Black Lives Matter rally in Dallas got shot up.
Oh, I looked right before that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It was literally the same day. But
Yeah.
one thing I want to bring to attention, do you remember the fact that the dude that they claim shot those police officers got shot? Like, did they bomb where he was hiding with a drone?
Yeah.
The
One of those
Dallas Police
robots.
Department.
One of
Yeah.
those robots that have that drone, that bomb thing that you I think that was actually the first time on American soil that thing's ever been used.
Now, let me ask you this. 4 years later, do you believe that went down like that?
I didn't believe it when they said that.
Okay, all right, because that was my thing. That was
I
my
don't
thing.
believe. Listen, when they put stuff out there in the media like that to convey whether something did or did not happen, I'm already skeptical about it. I'm not paying attention to what anyone's saying like that because, of course they're going to deny that they did anything wrong.
Right.
Why would they own up to being wrong?
And not only that, in that specific situation, you do realize that's when Blue Lives Matter was birthed as well.
Yep.
And so,
Yep.
I mean, I'm not one to be like a conspiracy theorist or, the one to read too much into things, but I think they knew that if after Black Lives Matter was like kind of getting traction and people kind of picking it up, they wouldn't be able to oppose it without having a reason.
For sure.
And think about it also, at least 2 of the officers that were murdered were black. And I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll leave that there because I don't know.
Because they started going into the whole black on black crime tangent during that time too.
And it's like, yo, that's not that. I mean, that wouldn't even apply in this situation. Because that would be black on blue crime according to this new race that was created based on You know, people just marching trying to have a fair shake in the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. I'm
Speaking
big
of
on them.
like a fair shake, right,
Mm-hmm.
and equality, I'm noticing, I'm catching a lot of clown shit. Basically, I'm seeing a lot of clown shit,
That was a
and
perfect segue.
this is I listen to a lot of
Perfect
Steve
segue.
Harvey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but it's like it's a this is really where I wanted to start. But like
Yeah.
between yesterday when I text you and this morning when I woke up, a lot of shit happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, game 3, Mavericks and LA Clippers, Saturday, no,
Friday.
Friday, um, Trez Harrell, scored on, Luka Doncic and, you know, called him a bitch ass white boy.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody said anything until Sunday. And then you know it just became a topic, and I just wanted to kind of discuss it. I don't know what your standpoint is. We can obviously discuss it. That's what we're here to do. But like where I'm from, although white is the majority, the way our school in the city of it's in the it pretty much encompasses the how can I say this the hood. All the
Yeah.
hoods in the city get split into at the time 4 middle schools and then go to 2 high schools.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, you got the one high school that's in the hood and the one high school that's like not in the hood, but like kids from the north side and east side go to that school.
Right. Right.
With them going to that school, they go to school with white kids. These are
Yeah.
the first white kids that they've ever encountered, and the only thing that you can say to identify this person before you know them is that's a white boy.
Yeah.
There's never been a time in my life where a white person looked at me and was like, "What's up, black boy?"
Yeah.
And it's not because black is just such a offensive thing to say. It's because they don't have to identify me as black because they see that I'm black. Just like
Yeah.
with the situation with Trez Harrell calling Luka Doncic a bitch ass white boy, he's a white boy. For all intents and purposes, he's a white boy.
Yeah.
Now, why nobody got mad about him calling him a bitch ass is
I
beyond me. Cause
that that was the more offensive part of the.
right, like we can hoop all day, we can talk
Yeah.
trash all day, but don't call me a bitch. Come on, man. Like I don't even know a lot of English. You know what I'm saying? I'm straight from whatever middle European country, or is it Eastern European? One or two. Whatever
Yeah, I'm
European
not
country
sure.
that Luka Doncic is from.
Oh,
I mean,
Scandinavia, I think.
is he Scandinavian?
I think he's from Scan. Yeah, I think so. Something starts with an S.
That's wild. Well, shout out and rest in peace to Kobe Bryant and Gigi Bryant.
For sure.
Because today is August 24th. Yesterday was his birthday, August 23rd. But the reason I shouted, wanted to give a shout out and rest in peace here. You remember the clip where Kobe was speaking in Luka's native tongue, like
Yeah.
talking trash to him
Yeah.
from the sideline. That
Yeah.
was a dope moment. But I mean, in that, I'm sure Kobe was like, "Wow, you're a talented white boy, you bitch ass white boy," and Luka Doncic didn't get mad about it then. You know what I mean? Like it's
You know what? We have to. So you played basketball before, right?
yeah,
With your friends. You taught trash,
yeah,
right?
friends, yeah.
Like I'm. I don't know how we got here to this point where now this is looked at as an insult, because now people like to want to draw a false equivalency between white boy and black boy or nigger or whatever you want to like say a white person would say to a black person, like for some reason, people got this. They drew this false equivalency between the two, and I'm pretty sure you remember that movie called White Men Can't Jump, right?
Yeah.
The premise of that movie was about a white guy trying to prove that he could play basketball, right?
Yeah.
Like we as black people, we underestimate white people that can play basketball until they show us they can play basketball. When we see them on the court, we underestimate what they can do, right? That's just what happens. Excuse me.
Ever since we stole this sacred game from the founder, the creator of basketball, all those years ago, once we took it off the peach baskets and really was, getting it in, like I feel like maybe the first dunk is when it was like, all right, this shit ain't mine.
This ain't, because I mean, everyone view like when you think about a white guy playing basketball, a lot of times Larry Bird will come to mind. People along those lines that transcend the game. Like, I'm pretty sure he got called white boy when he was playing basketball. You know what I'm saying?
He called himself a badass white boy.
So
he called himself that. It was a situation where Larry Bird was playing against the Sixers, and I don't know if it was in the playoffs or if it was the beginning of the season. Charles Barkley told this story as well. Like, I remember him saying it on TNT a while ago. He comes on the court. The white dude from the Sixers who was on the floor at that time went to guard, went to check Larry Bird, and he was like, wow, that's disrespectful. You put the white guy on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is.
That's just what it is.
And it's not even like a degradation to white people. It's just the fact that there's not a lot of white people in the NBA. Just like there's not a lot of black quarterbacks before last year who were excelling in the NFL, because I mean, ESPN, Fox Sports, every time we saw the graphics all year last season. This is the year black quarterback. This is the first black quarterback who did this, and then, when it got a little too political, then it became the mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's all the same. Like, you're white. Well, you're black, obviously. I'm pointing to you. But Luka, you're black. I mean, you're white. Montrezl Harrell, you're black. So I mean, if Luka was like, man, first off, if you learn to play the dozens or talk trash by saying, hey, black boy, like, you're wasting your white privilege.
Man, look,
bro, it is so many words. Like, first off, white people have way more harsh words as far as slurs to say towards black people. I'm not gonna say, the white slurs, because I mean, I don't feel like dealing with that. But I mean, foods, you know what I'm saying?
Like, foods.
Come on, man, like.
Bro, look.
That matches. Like, I don't even know a white person that's the same shade as that food to even call a white person that. But I mean, that's the term that came out. That's what some black people use, and I don't even think white people get offended by that.
You talking about like mayonnaise?
No, not that one. I was talking about the saltine, but I mean.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, they don't get. From what there's like, I know a guy that raps that calls himself Ritz as a play off of that. You know what I'm saying? Right? He's from, I think he's in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay, shout out Ritz.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the shout out can only go so far because I don't listen to his music, so I don't know what type of shit he be in.
It's CHH. Yeah. He
so I can't even say the shit he gets on. Okay. Shout out to Ritz. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Holiday.
man.
Shout out to John.
But see, the thing about it is like what I think people don't understand is when he called him a white boy. If you want to draw the false equivalency to a black man saying white boy to a white man, or to a white man saying black boy to a black man, what people aren't taking into consideration is the historical context that has.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Boy, period. For a
boy,
white person to call a black person boy.
oh, you say that to me,
Right.
it's gloves off, man. I'm not responsible for what I do at that point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, but that's not the same thing for white people. Now, okay, was it something that it's a different argument if you're gonna say was it something that should have been said, or was it necessary to say, or whatever. If you want to go down that road, fine. That's that's up to you.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but I know from playing basketball, from being around basketball, I've heard people say much worse than that.
Yeah.
So what?
And
Like,
it's just is
come
what it
on,
is.
man.
I saw
I'm tired at this point, man.
because like, and with the false equivalencies is the craziest part to me is like the main argument that I see from black people, which is weird, is like, oh, y'all want things to be so fair, but why does he get to say this and not get in trouble? But it's just like
Black people that
this isn't
say
the
that.
same thing. There's a big difference between
No, go ahead. I'm
what
sorry.
part of the no, you good. No, yeah, like it's just like the black people who say that to me are super counterproductive
Yeah.
to whatever movement or anything that we have going on, because when you keep putting okay, are we just gonna go for it?
We just
When you
gonna go
put
for
white
it.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, you put white people at this level who are generally the oppressor in this country. Now, obviously, it's not all white people. You have the lower class working white people here who not necessarily even want to get to this level, but as long as they see that this person up here is white, that makes everything, supreme from the top to bottom, right?
Oh, for
So you
sure.
got these white people here who are doing the oppressing. If you as a black person bring them down to here with everyone else to say, oh, if everything has to be fair, you have to follow the same rules you want them to follow. Sure, but at the same time, you have to take everyone up to that top level, to the where the supremacy is, to actually get rid of it. And I'm sorry that it's hard for me to explain it the way I really want to explain it, but you can't put yourself in their shoes to get to, not actually backwards. You can't put them in your shoes and expect somehow for there to be some equality reach, because they'll never bring themselves down to our level
Oh, no.
as far as where the equality has been, or where rights have been, or where school funding has been. They'll never bring it down to our level. It's
Yeah.
our job to get to where they are. So you have to keep pressing for every single little thing until things are actually equal. The
Yeah.
counterproductiveness that I'm talking about from black people who say, oh, you gotta be fair, is that you push it out there like things are okay. Once you say, if y'all wanna say Black Lives Matter, or if y'all want to have equality, we gotta do everything fair. That's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's not actually what we're talking about is, structural, and the actual foundation of the government and the Constitution that was changed not even 100 years ago to finally acknowledge us as humans. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's a lot that goes into that. That's
Yeah.
not words.
Yeah. And see, the idea that um black people, which I like, the ones that say all that are the fake woke ones to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're able to say that you're not acknowledging what the hell white supremacy actually is.
Right.
And do I understand that we as black people have a job that we need to do to better ourselves? For sure. We have a lot of stuff that we can work on ourselves.
Right.
The problem is when you're talking about uh and I don't even, I have issue when people try to call what black people do racist toward white people, because I don't think that people truly understand what the hell racism actually is.
Not at all.
When you have racism in and of itself is a byproduct of the white supremacy.
Right.
Racism racism allows white people to have a specific type of control or power that other races do not possess. This is all
Exactly.
over. This is not just America.
Right.
But if you're talking about you want to eradicate racism, you have to be willing to tear down that structure and break up the foundation of white supremacy for which this whole structure is built on. So for those that say that well, if it was the other way around, you wouldn't be saying the same thing. The problem with them is that they don't truly understand what white supremacy is. They don't understand what racism actually is. Excuse me. They don't understand their history.
Right.
And when you don't have all that understanding, yet you try to teach people, you're now being counterproductive from the people that know what the hell they're speaking about.
Right. Exactly. And because that, like, when you try to flip the script, like, you got to understand that, like I was doing with my hands, like, you trying here, they up here. So words and shit, let's not even worry about that. Now,
Oh, for
I
sure.
guess that would be the biggest issue with cancel culture, is the fact that people use a lot of words to, get themselves fired or get themselves excused from jobs and stuff like that, which I'm not necessarily an advocate for it. I just feel like if you get caught up saying some crazy shit online that you shouldn't say, then I mean, I hope you have a savings account. You know what I
Pretty
mean? You
much.
know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
I don't advocate for cancel culture, but I think that's what a lot of black people who use this train of thought like use as their crutch. Like, well, y'all wanted this person canceled, and y'all wanted this person canceled. Honestly, when you think about it, a lot of the people who got racist fired during this quarantine time just had extra time, man.
Yeah.
They just had like, oh,
Yeah.
you want to say some wild shit? Okay, let me Google the IHOP you work at, get their number, and ask them, do they support what you just said? Of course they'll say no, and then you get fired.
Yeah.
But is there an actual like sense of activism in that? No. But I think that's why those same people who watch that and actually think there's some type of credence in that flip it and then try to say that, okay, if you want Luka Doncic to never say bitch ass black boy, which would never even be said because it's a lame saying anyway. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't want Luka Doncic to say that, then Montrezl Harrell has to be suspended. And I mean, that's just not even, that's not the case.
That's not the case. My only thing, I wouldn't have. I know personally when I'm out playing ball, talking. I'm not talking trash for the most part anyway.
Yeah,
Like that, because I'm quiet. I just let
right.
my game speak. I'll defend you. I'll yell. I'll like you'll see it on my face, but I'm not speaking because I'm just not speaking.
Yeah,
But there are people that talk trash, and I don't have a problem when you're on the court. See, I think, excuse me, I think the people that have an issue with this whole thing are also people that never played sports.
I would assume so, but at the same time, like some of the people that I've specifically seen saying some of this stuff, I know
Mhm.
for a fact have played sports, which is weird.
That's very odd.
It's
That's
very weird.
very odd. Well, so those are the guys that played sports, but then they're also fake woke.
Yeah,
Because there's like the thing about it is you have to be able to add context to things. And when you play street ball, there's all types of things that are said. I don't
Right.
hear um I don't hear players or media members get upset when like Kevin Garnett, for example. He said
Fam, I was gonna
all
bring him up.
he said all types of stuff on the court.
Your wife tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Honey Nut Cheerios, he'd call you a nigga, all that stuff. Like everything.
Bitch ass nigga. Trash
Yeah.
ass nigga from the
Trash.
sideline. Remember that?
Yeah.
Not
But
even
no,
playing the game talking trash.
right. But see, when a black guy says that about a black guy, we're good.
Swept under the rug.
So on the rug, nothing's heard about it. It's just viewed as trash talk. But when
Tell
a
me
black
this.
guy says it to a white man, now all of a sudden we getting soft now? Like, come on, man.
Right. And us though, it wasn't a white person who
It
dug
wasn't
up
white people.
you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a white person who dug it up. It was the fake woke black people, coming out to be like, yo, I feel like if you guys want equality and to stop racism, you can't say that because that was a racist term. Wasn't a racist term. He didn't stop, like he didn't say, hey, bitch ass white boy, and then all of a sudden Wish, pull back their sponsorship of the Dallas Mavericks, or
Right.
Mark Cuban was like, oh shit, he's white. You're off the
Yeah.
team, buddy. Like that's racism. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's how racism works.
Yeah.
And
Look, I don't know, man. The thing about it is like, excuse me, when all this stuff came out, it made no sense because of the fact that this is just trash talk.
right.
This is trash talk. Like,
Right.
at the end of the day, that's how players talk. I haven't heard anyone say anything about Carmelo Anthony when he says stuff goes up for a rebound. I never heard anyone talk about. Yeah. I don't hear anyone talking about what Damian Lillard might say or Patrick Beverly,
Bro,
Marcus Smart. Those
I know for a fact, that if I make a game winner in the playoffs to eliminate you in front of 25,000 people from 35 feet, I'm gonna call you a bitch ass nigga.
bro, I'm going hard.
I'm gonna call you all type of bitch ass niggas.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And tell me this. In the 2016 as well as the 2017 NBA Finals, do you honestly think that Draymond Green wasn't calling Kevin Love a bitch ass nigga or a bitch ass white boy, punk ass white boy, soft ass white boy, hoe ass white boy? I know how he talks because we from the same
Pretty
town.
sure
So
he
shout out,
did.
shout out to a hometown hero. Shout out to Annie and Man as well.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact Draymond was calling Kevin Love a bitch ass white boy or a hoe ass white boy. Did Kevin Love say, "Wow, this is racist," or did he say, "Damn, I've been getting called white boy by my teammates, my opponents, my coaches, the opposing coaches since I was 11 years old playing AAU, and it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Because this white boy can ball. That's the thing.
That's also
As long
the
as
thing
he can
about it.
ball.
Look, he can ball out.
Right.
He can ball out. And that's also one of those things where oddly enough that's used as a sign of respect as well.
Right.
Like, oh, this white boy can ball. Like this, he is killing it.
Think about all the nicknames and all the comparisons that happen in the NBA or in basketball period. Like Jason Williams, what was his nickname? White chocolate. Why? They call Luka Doncic. Well, Shannon Sharp, Uncle Shay Shay calls him Baby Bird. He doesn't play anything like Larry Bird
At all. He's just white.
Right. But it is, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's possible that I could be speaking from a place of ignorance because I'm just not well informed on how white people feel. But when you really look into things, anytime a white person is slightly uncomfortable, the whole world knows.
Yeah, that's a
You know what
part.
I'm saying?
That's a part of their privilege.
Right. So since no white person has ever like skipped like, hey, I'm not going to the coach because he cool with the brothers. I'm going straight to the owner and say, hey man, if somebody else call me a white boy, I'm walking off this team. You can be the 15th player on that roster that will be respected as a white person speaking to another white person. And so that's why I just feel like it's a non-issue.
Yeah. What's the guy off Milwaukee Bucks? DiVincenzo, I think.
Hey, they got a few white dudes. They got
Yeah.
the other white dude who last name started with a no, Connaughton, I think that's his last
Oh,
name.
Connaughton.
Connaughton, yeah, he was in the dunk
Yeah.
contest.
Yeah, but yeah, was that him that was in the dunk contest this last year? This
Yep,
past one?
yep.
So he was the one that was dressed up as my guy from
White man
White Man
can't
Can't
jump.
Jump.
Yep.
So if we have all this going through the game, why is it that when this is taking place, excuse me, now my whole thing is I probably just wouldn't advise someone saying that because of the time that we're in, because it's a hypersensitive time that we're in. But that's probably as far as I will go. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about whether you're talking with whether these people are talking about the quality and use of whatever term. I'm not talking about if you want them to treat us the right way, you shouldn't say stuff like this. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. That
Right.
doesn't make any sense to me. So any black person that's out there talking like that, please do your homework. Please do your homework because it's getting out of hand, man. I mean, it's almost to the point now where we can't even play basketball the way we want to play basketball. And white guys like playing basketball like that too. You know how many times I face white guys where I got punched by a white guy in the stomach or elbowed or whatever, and they would talk trash as they do it. You know how many times that's happened? That's a part of the game.
Especially when you play like you the city school and you go in and you play like the outlying like country school, like they know they can't talk the shit that they want to talk,
right?
But I mean they get amped off like if kick the young Tom in the corner for 3, he splashed it. They get hype. Pretty good for a white boy, huh? Yeah, and it's like for sure.
And
Dap it up, and we
I've heard white guys say that. I've heard white guys say that when they dunk, whenever they shoot, like at a high clip or whatever. I've seen that. That's almost like a badge of honor for them. It's just like this. We've gotten to the point now where this is just too much, man. I think people are just bored from this quarantine because there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing else that can that can explain it for me. And that's the same thing with football too. You talk about Christian McCaffrey as a white running back. He doesn't get the accolades of black running backs in terms of recognition that much, but he's widely recognized as one of the best running backs in the game. But they always say, oh, he would be regarded as the best if he were black.
I think they accidentally made him black in Madden 19. I think they accidentally made him black. I'm not for sure. I'll have to look it up. I'll look it up and send it. But if anybody knows, you know what I mean, I guess it won't matter when you tell us right from wrong. But I'm pretty sure they accidentally made him black in Madden 19.
That's hilarious, man. That's hilarious. Hey, man, look, I just want us to be able to play ball the way we should play ball, and that is with trash talk. That's always been involved. Let's keep it at that and move on. It shouldn't be this whole thing.
No, that took away personally, like that conversation took away from the fact that Luka, you know what I'm saying, strung together a great game. Was 47. He was in double. Obviously, it was a triple double, but he was like was like 14 boards and like 15 assists or something like it was. He was up there.
He was
I'm
up.
not
Yeah.
exactly sure, but like that took away. Maybe it was Kawhi. Like maybe Kawhi found the clip and was like, "Yo, I don't want people to know that like Luka is kind of like running me ragged in this series."
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Paul
It was
George.
playoff P. Playoff P. It was playoff P. It had to be. It had to be. I wish we would have thought about this earlier. It was fucking playoff P. Because
Was to try to cause a distraction from his
yeah.
game. Yeah.
And maybe he wanted to like make Luka feel bad that he caused like a race riot on Facebook, but I mean, I don't know. Cause like
Yeah.
that's the only, that's the only thing that I can honestly think of to explain why Paul George has been so distracted
Yeah.
or just not playing well for the playoffs period.
Yeah. And
The
this is the
last time I
first
saw,
round.
yeah, I mean, but that's what it is. Remember was that the first round that the Blazers bounced the Thunder with that when Dame Lillard hit that shot? Wasn't that the first round?
I'm not
I
sure.
feel like that was the first round
Is it the first or second? I'm not sure, to be honest.
because they won and then they got beat by. No, that was a different year. Never mind. Never mind. Forget it. But yeah, like playoff P doesn't really play well in the playoffs. I think the only time he did was when he had the best team he's ever been on, which was, that the Pacers squad that gave the Heatles a run for their money back in the day. But I feel like that's the best team, like best put together team that he's ever played on, and that's the only
Yeah.
time he's ever played well in the playoffs.
Yeah. Someone brought this up a couple of days ago, and I can't stop thinking about it. That Paul George has not been Paul George that we remember since he switched over to number 13. When he was wearing that 24, he was killing
Mm-hmm.
it. And he was a monster. That was an absolute beast. Ever since he came back and he changed his number to 13, this Paul George is not the same. He had flashes of it, but he's just not taking over in the playoffs in the last few years that we've seen him in the playoffs. He hasn't taken uh over, and I don't know what that's from. That's not from his injury. I refuse to believe that's from that break years ago. That the ankle injury, shin, something like that.
So I think it was like a shin.
Yeah, I'm not
I
believing that
know
that's
it
what
was
that
a
is,
really
because
bad break.
it was a bad break, but when he came back, he was balling out.
Right.
It's just
The
that
crazy part is
the
still
takeover in
explosive.
playoffs has not been there.
Yeah. And his jump shot looks great when it goes in,
Oh yeah,
but like he misses a lot. And I
yeah,
think he was still, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's a scheme or if it's just how he wants to play, but he depends on his jump shot a lot when he has the handle and the explosion to get to the rack, get contact, get to the line, but it's like he just doesn't do it. And I'm
yeah.
glad I'm not a Clippers fan or a playoff P fan because I would be pissed.
Excuse me, especially with losing to the Mavs last night when they were down Porzingis.
Right. Like that's you can't do that.
You can't lose to the Mavericks to the Mavericks when they don't have Porzingis, and Luka has an ankle that's at minimum irritating him.
Yeah,
Oh
because he missed a few minutes in the fourth quarter due to that.
yeah,
Luca. You
yeah,
know what I mean? So
yeah. So I don't know. Hats off to him. I love Doc Rivers. That's my coach. Um, but I don't know what the hell is going on with the Clippers right now. I think they could get out. I think they could actually lose this series, but I think they will eke it out. Um, Very weird to say that, though. It's very weird to say that.
yeah, and the Mavericks, the way that their team is set up, and they obviously let everything flow through Luka. They got so many shooters, but they also got all of those shooters are also great defenders.
Yeah,
That you know, all they have to do is just keep applying that pressure. Like Trey Burke came in and got like 22.
bro.
Trey Burke signed before the bubble happened. So like,
Philly, that because they had Trey Burke.
yeah, they didn't handle him well at all because I thought it was over with. Because Trey Burke went to U of M. Obviously, I'm a U of M basketball fan,
Mm-hmm.
and watching Trey Burke hoop the way he hooped in the Final Four, which we all know it was all ball when he blocked Sosa. Watching how he played in the Final Four, and then watching him play in the pros, I'm like, oh wow, I didn't think it was that much of a gap between his game and the pros. But I think it might
Mm-hmm.
just be a Brett Brown thing. I mean, he did get fired today.
Yeah,
It could be a
I,
Brett Brown thing.
it probably is. But if I'm Philly, I'm not using Brett Brown as a scapegoat. They completely messed up that process.
Yeah,
Whatever Sam Hinkie was doing to continue that process, started and all that stuff. Since he's no longer there, they have botched it up completely.
yeah.
So that's on them. I couldn't care less. The only thing is, this is what you deserve. This is what Philadelphia deserves. The 76ers went out and poached Al Horford from the Celtics so that they could do what they could do to stop having someone that defended Embiid as well. So they wanted to bring him to their team and overpaid him,
Overpaid
like,
him for sure.
to do that. Now, I love that he got the money. I love that he got paid. But when you're looking at the market and his age, that $100 million wasn't the best idea, but I'm glad he got paid.
Not only that though, but like between getting Al Horford, having to fit Al Horford in a lineup that could possibly have Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris all on the court at the same time, like that just never made sense.
Nah. And when they
Because
should have
where are they
used that
gonna go?
money, they should have used that money to give to Jimmy Butler and keep
Yeah,
the shooters around. If they
he
did
wouldn't have
that,
stayed there.
he most likely wouldn't have stayed, but they could have at least offered.
Yeah,
I think they pushed him out. They pushed him out, and that's sad because he would have. I think he could. I think if they kept those shooters there, if they kept Jimmy Butler there, if Embiid could stay in shape, have his conditioning in the right place, and Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons, they could have easily gone to the finals.
I believe that. I
Easily.
feel like I feel like Ben Simmons is a lot better of a player than what people give him credit for.
Mm-hmm.
So how long do you give? Like, how long do you give the Sixers from this point? They fired Brett Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Simmons should be coming back next season. He'll have a little bit of time to rehab. Um,
No, he'll have
how do you?
months.
How long? Like how? Not how long. Yeah, how long? How long do you give them if they make the right choice for coach that fits them? Like, how long do you give them
I,
before you just gotta just blow it up?
I don't give them a shot in hell. I didn't give them a shot in hell when this season started because when you take all the shooters away and you put in, they relied. This is how stupid they were. They took their shooters off the team and put the onus of shooting on Horford and Harris, and then whatever shooting they can get out of out of Harris or I'm sorry, not out of Harris, but out of Richardson or NATO, they were fine with.
Right.
But they traded Landry Shamet as well, like still in his rookie deal. They
And
just
balling now.
he's killing it. Excuse me. So I don't know, man. This team, to me, this is not a Brett Brown issue. You know, of course, you're supposed to be able to coach with the players you have on your team. You're supposed to be able to do as much as you can, and he did not utilize Al Horford the right way. I understand that, but they don't have the right pieces on that roster anyway. So I don't care if they go out and get Popovich. I don't care if they go out and get Eric Spoelstra or whoever they want to go get. With that current roster, they're not going to do anything. They might make the playoffs next year. I don't even know if they will make the playoffs next year.
Oh, you talking spicy? I forgot the Celtics was in the Atlantic Division. You
Yeah.
talking spicy, bro?
No.
You're
Think
talking
about it.
spicy, bro.
Think about it.
No, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. You got okay. I don't even think Joel Embiid is a good center. However, somehow he's still one of the best centers in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is no way one of the best centers in the league, one of the better, let's just say floor generals, because I don't want to call him a point guard, because I would have never considered Ben Simmons a point guard. So one of the better floor generals. All they need to do is say, I would either hire Ty Lue or David Fizdale,
Mm-hmm.
get them a defensive centric plan,
Mm-hmm.
and that'd be good. I mean, they do need some shooters though. They
need
definitely
shooters, bro. In a league where shooting is the primary aspect of the game, you cannot have a team that does not shoot well. That is dumb as hell.
Yeah, not these days either.
Yeah, and their cap space doesn't allow them to have much flexibility with moves anyway. So look, you have Milwaukee, Boston, Toronto, Miami, Brooklyn, Indiana, Washington, and Orlando that I see all having better seasons next year than Philadelphia. I'm not saying for sure the Sixers will miss the playoffs next year, but as currently constructed, with those other teams getting better, Washington is getting John Wall back, and if they don't trade Bradley Beal, they're going to have that dynamic duo back with the pieces they have on that roster right now. I think it's very possible they could miss the playoffs next year. I think it's very possible because all those teams that I mentioned, they all have an identity and they all have a proper roster build. Even if they're not the best, they have a proper foundation to build on. Yeah. And I see the Sixers actually going south next year, man. And I feel so bad for Al Horford because he went through the season he went through last year with Kyrie and could have stayed in Boston if he just waited like one more day before agreeing to that contract. If he had just waited one day, he would have stayed in Boston. It's sad. I feel so bad for him. So I hope he gets a buyout. I hope he gets a buyout and he come on back to Boston. That's what I'm hoping. It's probably, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, that's definitely a reach. But I mean,
it's a reach. But that's my hope. That's my hope. And don't let the Pistons get J. Cole.
No, let the Pistons get.
Don't let the Pistons get J. Cole, man. That's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see what they do. I can't wait.
Here's the thing. He's
a lights out shooter.
I'm pro. From what we see online,
from what we've seen
online, he's a lights out shooter. I'm pro getting J. Cole now because we got rid of Andre Drummond. I was going to say last season, but actually before the All-Star break. So since we got rid of Andre Drummond, I don't have to worry about like J. Cole going to the studio and like Drummond kind of sneaking in there and spitting some of that wax sauce, like he was doing.
That man! I'm sure you saw his music videos.
I saw the one when he was in that super small Ferrari with like the girl,
That
and it
old
was like she
Ferrari.
want me to buy, yeah, she
Yeah.
wants my bottles, but she doesn't want my heart. Some bullshit, man.
He was on that Le'Veon Bell type thing, man. Absolute trash.
Yeah, I I do hope that J. Cole gets that contract though, because if J. Cole gets that contract, you
Hey,
put
man.
him next to the Pistons. Got what the number? Yeah, we got a whack pick. 7, right? 7.
Something like
Yep,
that.
7. We got pick number 7. So at this point, I don't. We're gonna take who's ever the best available, which means we're gonna have an unbalanced team still, because I can
Yeah.
guarantee the best available at that point is gonna be a big man,
Mm-hmm.
and between Blake, Siku, um, what's the big dude from got from the Bucks? He's from
Um,
Sudan originally.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Thon Maker.
Don Maker. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whoever we pick is gonna be a big man, and is gonna be like a log jam. So we're not gonna see any progression. So I mean, we might as well get J. Cole. Like I said, give him some of that Chris Brickley 3-point action from the wing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully it actually goes in. I don't know.
I would love to see it happen. I don't know. I don't know if it will, but I mean, what do you have to lose if you're the Pistons?
I mean, not more games. Obviously,
You're
we
not
lost
losing
enough
any
games,
games at
right?
all. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think if anything, J. Cole actually helped win you a couple
right.
because he's
Get the
just
crowd involved.
yeah, yeah. He's just. I mean, I've and the videos that I've seen, he was actually playing against NBA players, Carmelo and
Yeah,
some other guys. So I mean, he was shooting over all of them. So I would love to see it. I'm not going to sit here and say he's Jamal Crawford or someone, but Larry Bird or Reggie Miller or something like that. But I think he has a nice shot. I think he has a nice
yeah.
shot.
He's gonna get jammed up a lot, because his handle isn't the best.
Yeah.
He, so he's gonna have to come off picks, and you get his shot off. That's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be the only issue. But at the same time, just like Master P, like he made the team, but they didn't play him like that. So
Yeah.
like he'll have his time to shine against, the appropriate second to third string players. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think it'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Damn,
I
did you?
hope all well. All's well.
Speaking of all as well, we'll end it on this.
Mm-hmm.
Recently Meg Thee Stallion came out and kind of detailed her experience and what actually happened between her and Tory Lanez.
Yeah.
As far as get shot in the foot by Tory Lanez. Um, Allegedly, I guess we have to say that still. Like, what's your take on people now calling Meg Thee Stallion a snitch?
Yo, I don't get that, man. I don't get that because I've seen a lot of comparisons to 6ix9ine.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make any sense to me. If she's in the situation, she is actually the victim of the crime, and people are asking her since she got shot, who shot you? What happened?
Right.
She's been quiet this entire time. Now all of a sudden she's trying to, go ahead and say what needs to be said so that she can, get through this whole situation. And now she's being called a snitch. I don't know, man. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't at this point.
My thing is with Meg Thee Stallion situation, like when you say snitch, 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 a snitch is a person who goes out, and our thought process or our idea is for you and I to commit a crime together.
Yeah.
Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion did not have um a crime that they were planning on committing together. I mean, they probably were smoking weed and driving with an open bottle in the car or something like that, but whatever, what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, she didn't
Yeah.
say he was smoking weed and drinking.
Nah.
She said that, they got into an argument, she left the car and he shot her. So
Yeah.
like the idea that people who obviously aren't involved in the streets, are saying stuff like, you know, she's a snitch or she's worse than 6ix9ine. It just kind of shows how, like, when you get too much of a mix between like culture, as in real life, and entertainment, and then you start mixing it, and then you get all these people who don't actually have an idea of like how things go or how life works or like context and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. It's just like, you know, the fake woke people. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Oh, for sure.
you know, a black person being mad at Montrezl Harrell for calling Luka Doncic a bitch ass white boy is the same exact person who was like, "Yo, Meg the Stallion the snitch. I ain't listening to her no more." And
Yeah.
that's the crazy part. Like, you know, I don't listen to Meg the Stallion because I don't have any dudes that I need to finesse. You know, I mean, not with, not with my hips and
Yeah.
my bionic knees. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't have any dudes that I need to finish. So I don't
Right.
listen to Meg Thee Stallion. So I don't understand this like this mass wave of dudes like, oh, it's a rap for Meg. I'll never support her when like she wasn't for you anyway. I mean, she's for you to look at, but obviously she's there for women to support and feel empowered by.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Again, like you said, the people that are saying that she's a snitch just don't know the rules of the street.
Right.
That's pretty much
And
it.
and that's the craziest thing. Like I'm not a street guy. Like I have
Yeah,
friends,
me
you know,
either.
good friends that I I have friends that were in the streets, and then like, you know, you have that common understanding. Like if they were gonna do something that they didn't want me to be involved in, I didn't
Mhm.
go,
Right.
or they didn't invite me, or it happened and they told me about it afterwards, and I'm cool with that because if I got into a situation with them, obviously we're all going to jail, but I don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
So since so since I don't want to go to jail, leave me out of it. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna snitch on nobody,
Yeah.
but hey, don't even involve me at all because that's not where we are. So I just don't understand how, you know, these guys who are making these claims about Meg, like they don't have street friends who ever said, "Hey, we don't want you involved in this." So how do they even know how the streets work? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Shoot. I look. I know the bare minimum that I need to know about the streets.
Yeah,
I know what I need to know. I was born in Newark, right? Like I have people in Jersey, family and friends in New Jersey, and you know, I've learned from a lot of stuff they've told me.
right.
But guess what? I'm not I'm not automatically labeling someone as something just because they did something I did or did not disagree with. I like that doesn't make any sense to me. Excuse me. So if they're now going to, this is where I think people are messing up, and they don't understand about they don't understand the thing about regions. So
Mm,
where Meg is from, Houston, she has people in Houston, whether they are her actual people or people that know her, know that she's from Houston, and so they're going to have her back.
right.
If people really want to be about that life, go ahead, be my guest.
It could go, and
Be
she
my
got
guest.
money. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's another thing too. Like, you know, when you try to take it to this next level, like, you a snitch, da da da, like, then you gotta start understanding that it was street people who put her in position to even get to the point of meeting the first Carl Crawford, you know, for 1,500 records, 1501, I think, 1501 records. Like, it was street dudes who introduced her to Carl. It was street affiliation or the street look and the way she was talking that got her to the next level. So it's like you don't want to put yourself in the crosshairs of these type of conversations and you end up face to face with somebody from the streets and you had no idea it would have
Once
got you to that point.
once those guys come to check people, like that's what I'm saying. It's you don't want to keep running your mouth about someone and you don't really know what's what.
It's a
and
slippery slope from that point.
there people come to check you. That is not what you want. But hey, by all means, if you're gonna do it, go ahead and do it and find out the hard way.
So what's your thought? Like what happens next for Tory Lanez? Like what
He's trash, man. There's no
yeah.
reason to shoot a woman. Like if you're okay, I'll say it like this: if you're in fear of your life, right? If you're in fear of your life for something, I can understand, depending on the circumstances, why someone would do something because they're in fear of their life. We talking about a woman
Right.
that was getting out of the truck, and Meg is what, like 5'10", something like that. She's not like
Yeah, she's 5'10".
she's not like 6 foot plus. Like, I mean, Tory is like maybe 5'3", but
That's not a fear for your life.
that's
You
not a
know what I
fear for your
mean?
life. She's getting out of the truck, and you're
But see,
out
that
of the
was my
argument.
question.
Come on.
That was my like my wife and I were going back and forth on like how they even ended up together at all. Because I mean, my wife is 5'8".
Right.
So when she wears heels, she's typically taller than me. Unless
Right.
she wears actually there's no heel that she could wear that wouldn't make her taller than me because I'm 5'10". So
Right.
once she puts on heels, she's taller than me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not defensive about that, or I'm not like self-conscious about that. I'm cool
Mm-hmm.
with that. But I feel like if I was 5'2", 5'3", and she was 5'10", and
Mm-hmm.
like nothing that I could do would make me even see eye to eye with her, and then also she wears heels, and also she's thick and curvy, so like she's bigger than me and taller than me. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't see how they even got to that, like got to the point of being in a relationship.
Bro, if that's gonna be, see, this is my thing. If you're not comfortable with who you are, you're not gonna be comfortable with anyone that you're with. So Tory has an issue. Like, he
Right,
has an issue with himself.
right. That's
Whatever
what I
that
was
issue,
getting at.
I don't know if that issue is to do with height. I don't know if that issue is to do with his hair. I don't know if the issue is to do with his music not doing as well as other artists. I don't know what the issue might be, but whatever his issue is, he needs to resolve it,
Yeah.
because he has now put himself into a position where everyone's looking at him sideways. At best, they're looking at him sideways. They're, like I said, people in Houston they're not gonna keep quiet on this. As soon as they
Yeah,
have an
but at the same
opportunity to get
time,
at Tory, that's gonna be it.
I don't think they'll ever have a chance though, because I'm pretty sure he's gonna get deported or something crazy behind this.
He
Like, think
probably
about it:
will.
a rapper, a rapper shot another rapper in Calabasas.
Mm-hmm.
That's not about to fly.
Yeah, and he's from Canada, right?
Yep, he actually at the end of his verse on Jack Harlow's "What's Poppin'" remix, he yelled "Canada" after he finished his verse, which I thought was like, I'm still confused on like why he didn't like shout out Toronto instead. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I understand that Toronto is in Ontario and Ontario is in Canada, but just to like skip everything and just jump out and say like Canada,
Yeah.
like that was the equivalent of like the USA chants at like a MLS game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
well, where did that come from?
Look, again, I think if there's a will, there's a way. And I think if there are people in Houston that want to do something to Tory, even if he gets deported, they're gonna go up to Toronto and they will
Definitely. I
find
mean,
him.
I'm sure there's people that they know in Toronto. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they can get hands on him. I hope, because I don't want to see another black man slain. Hopefully all this gets
Mm-hmm.
pieced up. However, Tory Lanez is a hoe ass nigga though.
Oh, he
Like,
is. You shot a woman in her foot.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Like on some, yeah. And like, what could it be? Like, could it be like a because I don't believe that she was beating him up like they were trying to put the stories out, because he
Mm-hmm.
was it was Tory Lanez, his security, Meg Thee Stallion, and one of her good friends. I think her name is Kelsey. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't make sense for Meg Thee Stallion to be beating up Tory Lanez and Tory Lanez security guard, who at that point is in full right to protect his client, to not just like throw her off of him or something like that. Like
Sure.
it's not out of what his job description is or what he's there to do. Like nobody would trip. It'd be more so like, you know, why are y'all having these situations and having to involve your best friend and your security guard? But in this, it's like, how the hell do you get to a gunshot? Like, what could she have said before she walked out of the car to get
See,
shot for it?
that's the thing, man. Like, I don't know what could have honestly been said or done to warrant shooting her in the foot.
Right.
That I don't get it. And I mean, I would like to. I'm somewhat wondering because I feel like Tory's getting a little bit of a pass on this. Um, Everybody came hard
Yeah.
at Chris Brown, right? With his whole situation with Rihanna, they came at him
Immediately.
hard. They still are.
Right.
I I don't see that same energy for Tory now. Like I don't see it. I don't see it. And as much as I don't respect what Chris Brown did as a as he was still they were still young, both of them were still young. But even though I don't respect that, he didn't shoot her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they were both able to walk away, scratches and everything like that, but they were able to walk away and leave well enough alone. Um Tory, I'm good on Tory. I'm good on him.
Yeah.
I'm good on him.
I was all and I think the reason that people didn't like kill him immediately, kill him as an embarrassment, they didn't bash him
Mm-hmm.
immediately, is because there was no story that came out, and Meg herself protected him in that situation. Like,
Ah, that's
um
true. That's true.
I
Yeah.
stepped on some glass, or whatever she said was the reason that her foot was bleeding. Like, she defended him, but when she came out with her her Instagram live and was like, yo, I didn't want to tell the police that it was a gun in the car because, this whole year, police have been killing black people, and this
Yeah.
one will be justified. Like,
Yeah,
it wouldn't be justified, but the police department will find a way to justify it.
for
You
sure.
know, there
For
was a
sure.
wounded woman shot. Well, there was a wounded woman bleeding out on the concrete. We approached the car. Suspect reaches for his pants. We shot him. And then what can you say? We can be outraged, but that will be the one situation where it's like, damn, I can't defend that. And so I understand now why she decided to not, you know, implicate him as, a shooter in that moment, but
Yeah.
that really killed her public perception and the eyes around this case. I think that's the reason why a lot of people aren't killing Tory Lanez right now.
Hey, man.
But I mean, as it stands, like Tory Lanez, I never really listened to his music, but I mean, it's a rap. It's a rap for him in my eyes.
Oh yeah, me either. And I will say, this is just one other situation that highlights the strength that Black women have. This is just another one because for her to even after after being shot still have the wherewithal to say I still want to protect you or protect you from getting killed or whatever it is.
Everybody, right?
Man,
She
hats
she
off to her.
she protected
Yeah, hats off
everybody in
to her.
that situation.
Yeah, she's got
And
nothing
that's
but
another reason why
respect.
people shouldn't be calling her snitch. If anything, like, she was a real one in that situation,
That's a ride or
looked
die.
out for everybody, and yeah,
That's a
like
ride or
that
die.
situation is exactly what is exactly what a ride or die is, and it's also somebody that you respect. Like, if I'm Tory Lanez and I know I can't necessarily speak on what's going on because, it's an open case. But I'm
Hmm.
coming, like, as soon as somebody try to bash her, like, look, don't do that. Don't
Yeah,
talk about her like that. Don't say anything wrong about her because she's not in the wrong. Whatever I gotta say that doesn't involve me incriminating myself as Tory Lanez, I feel like I would have to say that.
for sure, for sure. But you're a man.
Right.
Tory's not a man. Sorry, that's not that what he did,
That's a fact.
and the fact that he's able to stay quiet this entire time. He was loud as hell during this entire quarantine. Now all of a sudden he knows how to be quiet.
Right.
Keep that
Disappeared
same
off the
energy.
face of the earth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep that same energy. Keep talking. Keep
Get out
talking.
here, talk, say something, do
Say
something.
something. Like I don't want that. I don't want you being quiet. Come on.
Right. That's a fact. But I mean, as you can see, I mean, you see it, but I don't think the viewers are gonna see this. It's pitch black in the Dabmobile.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm gonna have to start picking an earlier time to record, man. But it was great
Oh, for
coming on the
sure.
boulevard and having this conversation.
For sure.
Um, I want to say same time next week, but we might have to record again this week just to like take care of everything else that's happening. We didn't even talk about the fact that LeBron is playing out of his mind right now. I actually got to go catch that game right now.
Oh, that
Blazers.
is on. Yeah.
We didn't talk about my bubble experience. I was actually a virtual fan this morning, so we'll talk about that later this week.
Were you?
Yeah, that shit was whack though. And I is there anything else that we needed to talk about NBA? Whatever it is, we'll carry it out.
We'll
You know what I'm
definitely,
saying?
yeah. We'll definitely discuss that,
But yeah, this was another episode of the Boulevard with Ben Allen. I'm
sir.
here with Derrick Myers, OTS, the network, the family. Shout out to everybody. Six Families Radio. Um, and that's it. We out.
Sir.
Throwing up the deuces, but you can't see me.